where connections matter. I'm here to serve you to bring you podcast interviews with Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. And today we have a very special guest sitting right here. Let me read a little bit about our guest. Our guest on the podcast today has more than 20 years experience as an insurance sales professional. She is the CEO and president of Sharpe and Associates Insurance Agency. She brings a wide range of experience in the field of business, insurance, ministry, and community activism. Currently, she serves as the women ministry leader and First Lady at Greater Southern Baptist Church. And not only that, she is the owner of and CEO of Sharpe and Associates, and she is the president and director of Compassionate Senior Care Services. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Rosemary Moore.
Thank you for having me.
So could we start off with just telling us a little bit about yourself? Anything you feel comfortable with?
Oh, sure. Born and raised here in the city of Detroit. Went away to school for a little bit. Started out in the Upper Peninsula and finished there. And then after there, went to Howard University. Came back to Detroit. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with my career. A friend of mine said, hey, my job is hiring, it's insurance, and I wasn't real excited about that. But here I am, 27 years later, still in the insurance industry. It became a passion of mine because of the people aspect and the ability to help people. I am married to a wonderful husband, Pastor Darrell Moore. We have two beautiful children, Chris and Nia.
Okay.
Both are adults now, so we are empty nesters and enjoying the nest.
All right.
So that's me, and currently running Sharpe and Associates Insurance Agency as the president and CEO. Also have a nonprofit organization, Compassionate Senior Care Services. Both are local here in Detroit. Sharpe and Associates, we are in 21 states operating, doing insurance. So I have agents in states other than Michigan.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow. Now, you said in your introduction, now you went to Howard University?
I did, yes.
Okay. Now, did you graduate there with what was your field
I
study?
did not. My field study was business.
Business.
I did not finish because most of you know who have gone to an HBCU, they don't give you a whole lot of money.
Right.
So I was not able to finish there, but I was there and enjoyed every minute. It was a wonderful experience.
Great. And you said something about you were up in the Upper Peninsula? Now,
Yes. You said, how did I end up there?
Yeah, I was like, how did you end up there? Yeah.
Actually, I remember probably in my 11th grade year, I wasn't really sure, what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go to school. And my mother was like, okay, well, I think you better figure that out because, you're going to college somewhere.
Right.
And so I waited so late to really start putting applications in. And so there was a school in the Upper Peninsula. It was called SUNY.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Finlandia University. Across the bridge from Michigan Tech. So we did a lot of activities with those folks who were over at Michigan Tech. At the time, it was a 2-year college. So I did graduate from there with a degree.
So you went there after Howard?
That was prior to Howard.
Oh,
After
okay.
I graduated from the Upper Peninsula
With
from
the 2-year
SUNY
degree,
College.
okay.
Yes, then I went on to Howard University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So different cultures, totally.
Okay, all right. And then you said that you had an early introduction after finishing school into the insurance industry, or?
I did, yes. A friend of mine, her company, not her company, but the company she worked at, they were hiring. And
Okay.
so she said, well, hey, if you're looking for work, we're hiring. And so I went to work at this insurance agency and I wasn't excited about it to begin with, but as I began to learn the insurance industry
Okay.
and how it could really help people, because I'm very passionate about helping people and impacting lives and making change happen for people, it became exciting for me because I could see what we could do in the community to build wealth and then also educate people about insurance, because all people really know is I have to have it, I don't want to buy it, I don't like it, but I do it because it's a necessary evil. But so I take it as my personal mission to educate people that no, it can be used for so many more things, to protect assets, to protect lives, to build wealth. There's a lot of different things you can do with insurance.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I'm still here, so.
All right, that's wonderful. Now, it sounds like, I'm assuming that wasn't your original plan. Did you have different goals or a dream job or a dream career or business?
I did, and I guess I've always wanted to be in business.
Okay.
Early in my life, I wanted to be a social worker.
Wow, okay.
But then, because I love people so much and having to navigate with people through tough times in their lives, I knew it would be hard for me to disengage and not get personally involved. So I said, well, maybe I don't want to do that.
Okay.
So I found other ways to help people.
All right, that's awesome. So you get your start, was that about 27 years ago?
Yeah, about 27 years ago.
And then you found out, hey, here's another way to help people and serve people. So how did you take that experience and have a desire to have your own insurance agency?
After working for I've worked for several companies, major corporations, small agencies as well, and learned the business. I felt like I had developed a lot of teams, a lot of agencies, and a lot of those agency owners, they had become millionaires, and they were helping a lot of people. And I was making a good living, but I felt like, I could impact more people if I went out on my own. And then also, the way that a lot of agencies operate, they sell insurance as a commodity.
Right.
That here's the lowest price, and people buy that way. I didn't want to do it that way because I found out over time, people didn't really understand the coverages they were purchasing. They didn't come to know until the time of a claim, which left a bad taste in their mouth because when they thought some things were covered and they weren't, if someone had done a good job on the front end and explained to them, here's how this policy works, here's what the contract says, here's what's included, here's what's excluded, then people could leave making an educated decision and being comfortable in what they've purchased and knowing what it actually covers. Instead of an agent trying to explain and fix it when a claim is denied, or the client doesn't have the coverage that they thought they had. So I try and educate on the front end so that they're clear about what it is they're purchasing and what it protects and what it doesn't protect.
Now I want to go backtrack just for our viewers to have a better understanding. When you went into your first insurance job, you worked as an agent, direct sales.
Yes.
Now, did you have to prepare for the insurance exam, life,
absolutely,
casualty, or which ones did you have to prepare for?
I actually had to prepare for life and health and property casualty.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, the entire spectrum of the insurance industry, pretty much anything that can be sold with regard to insurance, our agency is equipped to do it.
Okay. Now, how did you back then prepare for those exams?
Went to Kaplan University.
Okay.
And they had I think it was a five-day class at the time.
Okay.
Took the class and then studied for a couple of weeks and went and took the exam.
And what is the percentage? How many questions, or what's the percentage?
I believe it's like 135 or 150.
Is there so many questions you have to get right, or?
Yes, I believe that's been more than 20 years ago, so that's making me think.
I think, because I had an insurance license before, I think you had to be at 70%, so I'm sure
I think
that was a pass.
I think it's 75 or 80, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I could be wrong on that, like I said, it's been a long time ago.
Yes, same for me, yeah. Well, that's awesome. So you saw, now were you working with, when I think of insurance company, I think of like Jake from State Farm, Allstate. You're in good hands. So you worked for those companies, or what kind of companies did you?
I worked for State Farm.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. I've worked for Nationwide Insurance as well.
Yes.
I have worked for State Auto, their regional property casualty carrier. I've worked for Combined Insurance. They're in all 50 states. So I've run the gamut of working for your major large corporations and then some smaller agencies as well.
Now, when you worked for those other agencies, like the State Farm, did you have like a brick and mortar? Did you share an office or?
Yeah, I worked for the most part, I worked as an agent for those particular companies.
Okay.
State Auto, I was a manager for the entire state of Michigan and Northern Ohio. Nationwide, I did several things for them, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Now, to transition to have your own agency, is there, I know that you have to have your license in you,
Mm-hmm.
health, life, property, casualty.
Yes.
I'm assuming now, do you have to be a broker or what's the difference? How do you have your own company? What kind of license do you have to have your own company?
Well, all you really have to do is be a licensed agent, and you
Really?
can, yes, you can.
You don't have to have take another special test?
No, not at all.
Because I want our viewers to know, how
Yeah.
do you have your own independent agency? Do you have to have
Yeah,
a
and
special
no,
license?
really, there are a lot of people hanging out shingles nowadays, because they see the glamour, but they don't see the behind the scenes work. You really don't want to hang out a shingle unless you've had some experience working with other companies, so that you get that experience and you know what you're doing. It's not a requirement. I mean, you can get your license and open up an agency.
So you're saying it's better to have experience,
To
get your
go
feet
work for
wet,
somebody,
to work
absolutely.
for State Farm or Allstate
Or even a
So
agency such as myself. You know, I mean, you
learn.
don't have to work for a major corporation. One great thing about working, and like in my agency, I have several agents that work with me. I do a lot of training. I do a lot of hands-on, providing them with leads. I take them out in the field with me to make sure that they're very familiar with the industry. And my goal is not to hold anybody captive. If someone wants to learn and come and glean, we do that
Okay.
and prepare them.
So
to
they
go
tell you
out.
up front, like, Rosemary, I'm here just to learn the business, and after a few years, I want to have my own thing.
Well, we're gonna put some parameters around it. We're gonna put some parameters around that because there are, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into building an agency.
Okay.
And my goal really is to grow the agency, but then also, like I said, I don't hold anybody captive. But it's a different conversation if you're coming in to learn. Because then I'm gonna say, well, maybe you want to hire me as a consultant. Because there's some proprietary things that I do within my agency that I know other agencies aren't doing. And so that's really
to protect your brand and
my
your
brand
systems
and my systems,
Right.
my marketing collateral. There are
Okay.
different things that I provide for them as far as marketing, insurance, and so I have to protect that.
Okay, so you don't have to have a special license to have your own agencies, but you do recommend to have some experience.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, and now do you have to? Because I read on your website, you're not captive. That means you can work with other companies.
Right.
How do you build relationships to write certain policies? Like, let's say I don't know if you work with Progressive or
I do.
what's the one that Geico? I don't know. Is Geico in Michigan?
Geico, that's a military.
Oh, okay. Well, they have a funny.
Well, no,
commercial.
actually, though,
Who's the one
I
that
think they
had
may
the
have
funny commercial?
switched. Yeah, Liberty.
Oh, Liberty has. Okay, so you can write for those big
Yes,
companies?
I also write for them as well. Yes.
Okay.
Because there's Liberty Mutual, and then there's Safeco, which is owned by Liberty Mutual.
Okay.
I write for both of those.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how does that work? Do you develop relationships with these providers, or how does?
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of people who may want to get into this industry, when you're starting out, it's very hard to get those contracts because they want you to commit to a certain dollar amount before they'll even give you a contract.
Okay.
So then they have a lot of what they call incubators, or they have other larger organizations called FMOs, which are field marketing organizations, or MGAs, managing general agencies, that you can work under until you build your book of business so that it's at a level that they're willing to talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get a contract with those agencies to write for, like your Progressives, your Liberties, and you work with. Well, they do have like you have to have gross annual premiums.
Yes, they want you to be at a certain
benchmark.
level before they will work with you directly.
Oh.
So you can go under what they call a, I'm trying to think of the term, I can't think of the term, but you would just work underneath a larger organization, build up your book of business, and then once your book of business reaches a certain level, some want you to have like $250,000 to get a contract,
Right.
and there are different levels.
Okay.
But it's a great industry to be in, and the great thing about it is you don't have to have a degree. So if there are people out there who are interested in getting to this industry, and what I tell a lot of people, I know insurance isn't sexy,
Right.
But you can make a really good living at it. Those people who stick with this industry, even through the rough patches, they end up living very well.
Okay, that's good to know. And I like what you said, you can get into this industry, you don't have to have a college degree.
That is
You
correct.
do have to get the licenses, and you
do have to get the license.
prepare
Yes.
for the test. You took the Kaplan classes
Correct.
to help you prepare for the test,
Yes.
and then you have to have a certain amount, percentage of questions answered correctly.
Yes.
And then once you get licensed, now in most cases, I think you have to have a sponsor, right? You have to have sign with the company to
Well, you
sponsor
have to be underneath somebody.
in order to take the test.
Yes,
correct?
yes. Because I have mentored several people that are new to the industry,
Okay.
and through getting, the class, getting licensed, and then once they're licensed, getting them trained to go out in the field and work.
Okay, that's good. I like that. So there is some preparation, but you don't have to have a whole lot of degrees. And you
No.
said you can make a good living.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Now, what's the flexibility? I know that everybody experienced COVID, and I'm assuming you're more so just processing paper. Is there a flexibility to work from home?
Oh,
remotely,
absolutely.
Or
Oh.
I'm used to the brick and mortar places. Your
Oh, yeah.
car insurance, you got to go to all straight down the street from the car dealership.
No, technology is such now that I literally don't have to have an office. I do, because I have an office so that I can train my
Train.
agents. We can have our meetings. If a client wants to come to the office, they can come meet me here at the office. But no, all of my agents are remote, every last one of them. So there's a great deal of flexibility. And that's one thing I would say about this industry. You've got to be self-driven, and you have got to be disciplined, because it's easy for you to sleep in late. You're not punching the clock.
Right.
But if you're driven and you do what's right for people, you will make a very good living in this industry.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, who was the ideal person who would get into something like what you do?
The ideal person, I would say, is someone, you've got to love people. You've got to love people, because this is a relationship business. If people don't trust you, if you don't have integrity, and if you don't always look for the customer's best interest, you'll find yourself in trouble in this industry.
Okay.
So you definitely got to have those qualities. You got to have integrity and be trustworthy, because we get a lot of people's personal information.
Right.
We have access to a lot of things that are private. And so you've got to have integrity. They also do a background check on you before you come into this industry.
Right.
To make sure that you are going to be a good fiduciary.
Right.
And you've got to be driven. You have got to be driven. Because there's
Say
nobody.
that twice.
Yeah, because people come in, and I'm going to say this as a business owner, because people come in to the industry all the time. Like every day, people are getting their licenses because they are excited about, I can make a lot of money. But what they don't realize is you're not going to make $1 million overnight.
Right.
You've got to come in. You've got to prepare. You've got to build relationships. You've got to be in the community.
Right.
People have got to know that you're just not trying to sell them a product, that
Right.
you're genuinely interested in protecting their family and protecting their assets.
Right.
And I tell people, if you're going to come work for Sharpe and Associates and you chase money, this is not the agency for you.
Okay.
Because if you do what's right for people, money will come, because people will refer you. When
Right.
they have children, they'll buy more life insurance. When they buy that new house, that new car, they're going to call you because they know that you're taking care of them.
Right.
And yes, we do this. We have to make a living. We have to make money to do it. But if
Right.
you do what's right by people, the money will come.
Okay, that's great. So you do right by people, and the money will come.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the ideal person has to be driven, a self-starter. Okay.
Yes, you definitely got to be a self-starter. Thank you for using that word, self-starter, for sure.
Yes.
Because what I tell all of my agents is, this really is their business, because they're 1099 under me, which means they're an independent contractor.
Okay.
So I tell them, if you don't get up and go to work every day, you're going to starve and you're going to have skinny kids, because they're going to be hungry too. So,
yeah, we don't want to starve, Miss Rosemary. We don't want to starve. We don't have skinny kids.
Yeah, so you got to get up.
Even though they have skinny jeans somewhere now. So.
Well, that's true. But you got to get up every day with a sense of purpose.
Right.
That I'm going to go out and I'm going to help somebody today.
Now, is this, when people work under your agency, are they 100% commission? Is there a draw, or how do they start out?
Most of them start out with 100% commission. We do offer some benefits.
Okay.
Those who come in and say, hey, I want to be a W-2, in order for a person to become a W-2 with the agency, they've got to be at a certain level where I know they're committed, which means I'm not just trying to get rich quick. They're coming to meetings. Those who show up, go up. Okay. They're coming to meetings. They're getting up every day. They're going to work. And they're not just waiting for me to feed them with leads, although I give my agents leads, but I need them also to go out and learn how to fish and get their own leads as well.
Okay.
Because I had considered making some of them W-2, but after talking to my CPA, he's like, no, it's going to cost you more to make them a W-2 than it will for them to be a 1099. So once they reach a certain level, and I share this with all of my agents, absolutely they can become a W-2, but it's got to make good financial sense for the agency.
Okay, okay. And I'm glad you said that those who show up will go up. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a segue of my next question.
Okay.
And part of what I do with my podcast, I like to kind of provide people with some how-tos or tips.
Sure.
What would you say, if you had 5 tips to building a book of business in insurance, what would be those tips, if you had 5?
Okay, sure. Community relationships.
Okay.
Because it is a relationship business. The second thing is product knowledge.
Product knowledge.
Yes, you definitely, because if you don't know your product, then how can you sell it? Relationship, product knowledge. You've got to be disciplined.
Discipline.
I would say disciplined and organized, kind of the two. Okay. And you've got to surround yourself with a team of people that can help you, because, you know, as
like
a team.
Mentors, or?
Yes, like a mentor, someone who's in the industry, who has, you know, you've seen them work, you've seen the level of success with them. Definitely a mentor, somebody that can teach you. And then also, you know, you want a team of people where you have a sense of community. Mm-hmm. We're not beyond mentoring, not just mentoring, but then if you have a question or you have a hard case that you don't know where to place it or which carrier is going to be better. So that's one thing that we're doing at Sharpe and Associates, is building a team and a sense of community. Okay. And so there's a lot of collaborations that go on. Whenever I have a community event, I bring along my team with me so we can all learn together. Because there's some things, sometimes I don't have the answer, and somebody will say, well, hey, have you thought about this or have you thought about that? That has become very, very important. Okay. Yeah, to work together.
Okay. So you said community relationships.
Yes.
Have a good understanding of your products that you sell.
Yes, absolutely.
Be disciplined and organized. Mm-hmm. Have a team around you that can mentor you and getting involved in the community.
Absolutely. That can, you know, collaboration is very, very important. Yes.
Okay. That's awesome.
The biggest thing though is getting out in the community. Okay. Letting people know what you do and that you are here to help.
Okay. What are some ways that an agent can get involved in the community or get out there?
Networking events, community events, show up to those. Okay. I do a lot of volunteer work in the community. So it's not just about me going out and trying to sell someone a product. Right. It really is about how can I help. Earlier today, I was at a senior center. We provided lunch. We're in the midst of open enrollment for Medicare. Right. So we did a session on Medicare and helping them to understand their options. during Medicare. And then I also had a mental health professional come in to talk about mental health issues. And then I also had a doctor come in to talk about health and wellness.
Okay.
And so I'm out in the community. And so by doing those things, they become, aware of who we are,
Right.
and that they know that we're in the community doing work beyond selling insurance,
Okay.
making an impact.
That's great. That's great. Now, let's say somebody is curious. They may watch this video, or they may have an interest. They may know somebody who's an agent, and maybe they have a main job, and they want to kind of go in slow. Is that an option, or is this a full-time thing?
Well, my agency, it's a full-time thing. However, I do have agents that are part-time, that are trying
Is that a side hustle, or is it how do they? I don't know.
Well, I don't work it. Yeah, because I don't work it as a side hustle.
Right.
Because it is a career.
It's a career.
But I do have people that are part-time because they have obligations.
Right.
And so they can't quit their full-time job just cold turkey.
Right.
So they are easing their way into it, and they're building up their book of business with the ultimate goal of doing insurance full-time.
Okay.
Because what I tell a lot of my agents, I spend a lot of time teaching, training, motivating, providing them with resources, providing them with leads. And so if you come in the door saying, oh, this is going to be a side hustle, then my agency isn't for you. We don't do side hustle.
That's good to know.
But if you're interested in coming in slow, learning the business, sure, I will help you along that path and get you going so that you can make the transition into insurance. But what I tell my agents, if you're going to come aboard, give me at least a year to get you going, get you on your feet, so you can start seeing your money flow.
Okay.
And you'll be in a position where you can walk away and make this a full-time opportunity where you can pay all your bills and have savings.
Pay your bills and have savings and make that money flow. Speaking of making your money flow, because some people may not be aware how the whole payment structure is when you actually get a life insurance policy or a casualty policy. Now, do they get commission, or does it depend on the contract you have with like Liberty?
They get commission.
They get commission off that, or then there's what do they call it? I think in some life insurance companies you could get
advances. Is that where you're?
No, not advances. It's kind of
renewals.
Your renewals, yeah.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Everything that we sell, you get a renewal on.
Even on the property casualty.
Oh, absolutely.
So every product you get a renewal.
Yes,
if the
absolutely.
client renews.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that as well, because the great thing about the insurance industry that people don't realize, if you're in corporate America, you have to wait every year for a review.
Right.
You may get a raise, you may not get a raise. In this industry, you want a raise, sell another policy.
Right.
You don't have to go in and ask for a raise. You kind of control what you make.
Okay.
So if you service your clients well, let's say you sell an auto policy, and every year you're checking in with your client to make sure they haven't moved, they didn't add another vehicle, because sometimes clients don't know that. They'll go buy a car and they assume it's covered. So I train my agents that every year with every client, we are going to meet with them and have an annual review. We want to make sure that the plan that they're in, that we put them in the beginning, still is meeting their needs. Have they had issues throughout the year? We don't want them to come to us with a problem. We want to be proactive and make sure that the plan is still working for them. So if you do those things, you take care of your clients, you're going to get that renewal year over year. And that's how you become successful, because it takes more money to get that piece of business in the beginning to bring them aboard than it does to retain them year over year.
Okay.
So really, when you talk about making money while you're sleeping,
you get that annual renewal.
You get that annual renewal.
Now, when you first issue a policy, is there a commission, advance, or what is how?
Yeah, there is a commission when the policy is first issued. You get a commission, and then at renewal every year, then you get another commission.
Okay, a percentage.
Yes, a percentage. Correct.
Okay. That's great, that's great. And then it varies with each contract you have with the...
Yes, the commission structures are always different because some carriers offer different percentages.
Now, do you do in-house incentives for agents to hit certain...
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know if you do trips, TVs, video games, dinner for two.
Well, you know, most of my agents tell me cash is king. If you give me
okay,
cash, if I want to go to dinner, I buy my own dinner.
Okay,
Some
so
will-
they do cash things if they hit certain...
cash,
benchmarks.
gift cards,
Okay.
gas cards, you know,
Okay.
a variety of different things. And throughout my trainings, all my agents will let you know that, you know, when they come to a training session, I always feed them. They always
Okay.
eat well.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we do. We have a lot of fun. We do great things,
Okay.
and I make sure that my agents are taken care of.
Okay, and I want to go in a little bit more in your company because I was doing a little bit of research for this interview. It looks like you service personal insurance and commercial.
Yes, that's correct. We work with individuals as well as business owners.
Can you elaborate how do you service business owners?
Well, depending upon what business they have, be it a trucking company, be it a boutique, be it a whatever. We do, like I said, a lot of networking. I'm out in the community talking to business owners, meeting with them all the time.
Okay.
And so I try and get to know them on a personal level, find out, what kind of business they're in, what are their challenges as a business owner? Is there something that we can do to try and alleviate some of those challenges through insurance?
Okay.
There's different policies that business owners should have. A lot of business owners, they'll protect their brick and mortar, they'll protect their equipment, but they do not protect their ability to earn an income.
Now,
That's
what's the
my
difference?
biggest
Because I know there's, if you have a LLC, they encourage you to have a liability policy.
Exactly.
So what
There's
is
so
that?
much more beyond that.
Oh, you mean like
So-
disability or if you get hurt?
Absolutely, thank you.
Key man's insurance?
All of that, yes, absolutely. And a lot of people in business, they don't think about, especially like key man insurance. So let's say you have a partner that you're in business with.
Right.
God forbid you pass away. Your family members may step in and say, okay, we want her portion. And they may not have any knowledge on how to run the business.
Right.
Now you got a problem because you got this family trying to come in and say, well, we want the business to run this way. If you don't put anything in writing, there's a problem. So key man insurance, what it'll do is you can have it structured however you and your partner agree with. But with key man insurance, we would buy a life insurance policy so that if you passed away, that life insurance policy would buy out your share.
Wow.
And
Okay. Right.
and the company would be responsible for paying the premiums on that. Or with some key man policies, what I've done is part of the proceeds will buy out the other partner, and then part of those proceeds will also go to the family to make sure that they're compensated and that they can still meet the obligations that their family has. So
Now I'm into content creation.
Mhm.
I don't have a brick and mortar.
Mhm.
I do podcasting, YouTube channel.
Sure.
What kind of insurance policy would someone like me, business need?
actually, since the pandemic, there are a lot of business owners that are virtual. There is no brick and mortar.
Right.
So a lot of them, first of all, liability, definitely.
Liability.
Equipment, like you have equipment here
Yes,
during
I
the
have a
interview.
camera.
So God forbid you get
These
hurt in
chairs,
a
I
car
got them.
accident while you're in transport. Hey, but you still paid for them though,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you gotta protect that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So there's a couple of different things. You could do a liability policy, standalone, or you can do what we call a BOP, a business owner's policy,
Okay.
which is kind of a package policy, which is going to include liability. It's also going to include any equipment that you may have. And if you have a brick and mortar, it can include that building as well.
What about
Or
when I
if you
do
use your car for business,
Yeah.
your car can go into
eventually
that.
I'm gonna go off to doing live events like networking events.
Mhm.
Would that insurance cover that in case something happens? Or?
No, you would need an event policy. Well, if
Oh.
you're at an event, your liability, yes, it would cover you.
Right.
Yeah, but I tell people if you're throwing a big event and alcohol is going to be involved,
Right.
or people, you have a lot of people coming in from a lot of different places, I do recommend an event policy, and
Okay.
those are very, very affordable.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
That's good. So you service the individual and business owners.
absolutely. And one thing I wanted to go back to with regard to business owners and protecting their ability to earn an income.
Yes.
Like I said before, business owners, we're so tuned or geared to the next sale or the next event or the next thing, we don't think about if I get sick and I go down.
Right.
if I'm hospitalized?
Right.
Who's paying my bills?
Right.
Bills are still coming.
You're right.
Is my business still running?
Right.
So it's important to have a liability policy so that you, as the business owner, if you become ill or you get hurt or injured and you cannot work, you can't go out into the community, you can't do networking events, you can't go out and sell, you want to make sure that your income doesn't stop because you stopped due to a life circumstance. And that's what a disability policy will do for a business owner, is so that if something happens to you, your family can still stay in the home. You can still make sure that your children are provided for, and you can still make sure that, you know, whatever needs or bills you have, that they're still paid and taken care of.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, 'cause I find this is very fascinating, the services you provide for individual and also business owners. Being a lady, being a black woman, going into this industry, what challenges have you found, or were there any challenges, or how did you overcome any obstacles?
Sure, there are lots of challenges, being especially an African American female business owner. And I hate to say this, but unfortunately in our community, in a lot of cases, we don't trust us.
Yes, that is an issue.
So that's been a challenge.
That's a challenge, yes.
Because I've seen where I will walk into a business and it's an African American business. And I'm talking to them about how to protect their income or how to make sure that their business is secure in the event of a loss. Right. And they're like, well, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna think about it. And I can tell it's the distrust. And when I first go in, I'm not going in like, let me sell you this policy. I'm genuinely trying to get to know your business, what are your challenges.
Right.
But a lot of times I get the, But I've seen other nationalities walk in the same time that I'm there, and it's a totally different engagement.
Yes.
And so that's one of the challenges. Another challenge would be, this is a white male dominated industry.
Okay.
And so sometimes there are doors that are a little bit more difficult to get into as an African American female.
Okay.
But you know what, I don't use that as an excuse to stop what I'm doing, because I firmly believe what God has for me is for me. And when you go into, absolutely, when you go into a supermarket, for example, there are probably 20 different brands of bread in there on the shelf. And so, you know, one brand didn't say I'm not going to do business because there's 19 other brands in here.
Right.
They still, and so I believe there's enough business out there, and there are those people who, you know, who will work with me. And right now I don't have another job or a side hustle. So I make enough money in this industry to provide for myself and my household.
Okay.
And, you know, I have all of the things that corporate America would have offered me, all of the trappings, as far as I have a 401k plan.
Okay.
I have disability. I have health insurance. I have life insurance, all paid through my company.
Right.
So, you know, there are challenges, but they can be overcome with hard work.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So there are challenges, and it can be overcome with hard work. That's a good perspective, and I pick up your energy, your determination. And yes, we do have that issue as a black business owner, and have a trust issue. It's just something that we have to overcome. I noticed on your website, you are a certified minority business enterprise, correct?
I am, yes.
Now, how does that benefit your agency or the work that you do?
Well, it benefits in a lot of ways, and it's called the Michigan Minority Supplier Diversity Council, or Development Council, I apologize. And that's a rigorous process to get that certification. But the major benefit of that is it opens doors that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get into.
Right.
So government contracts, a lot of corporations, especially if you're trying to do business with larger corporations, that is one of the first questions they will ask you. Are you certified as a minority business enterprise?
Okay.
And that's how I actually found out about the certification. There was a business owner who owned a manufacturing company, and he had like 2 or 3 locations. And so I was talking to him about it. He was like, oh, you know, this is great. And he said, "Are you certified as a minority business enterprise?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" He said, "Look it up, get the certification, and then come back and talk to me."
Now, how does it benefit them that you're certified to do? You're doing
Tax
insurance
credits.
policy. They get tax credits. Do you provide insurance policy?
Yeah, because if they're doing business like with the federal government,
okay.
there are certain things that have been put in place now where they can get tax credits if a percentage of their business is given to a minority or a woman-owned business.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah.
And was it, what was the process of getting that certification?
So the process is you have to go to a class first, where you have to register, go to, I shouldn't say a class because it's not really a class, an informational session. And you go to this informational session and they talk to you about the process of, getting certified, and they talk to you about all the benefits of how it really can help your business to grow and expand. And they offer a lot of resources to minority business owners as far as if you want to learn how to grow and scale, if you want to learn about cash flow management, if you want to learn about, should I set my business up as an LLC? Should I do it as an S Corp? All those different things. There are a lot of tools and resources that you get by being certified as a minority business enterprise.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I want to get into, we talked about your whole journey, 27 years ago.
Yes.
A friend of yours opened up an opportunity, and it led to this lifetime opportunity with the insurance industry. And how long have you had your own company?
Agency. The agency has been licensed since 2008.
2008. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. All right. So we talked about that and the challenges and how you provide services to your customers, business and individual. But I want to go into you are also I think you're president and board director of a nonprofit.
Yes, I am.
Which is called Compassionate Senior Care Services, correct?
Yes, that's
Compassionate
correct. Mhm.
Senior Care Services. You mind sharing a little about that? How did that get started?
That got started actually from insurance.
Oh, wow.
Because I do a lot of Medicare sales, so I work with a lot of the senior population.
Okay.
And so in like a month's span, I had met with a couple of seniors, and both said that they didn't have enough food to eat.
Oh.
And that they had been eating peanut butter and crackers for like 2 weeks.
They were in a senior home or just in a house or something?
They were in their homes.
In their home.
And just didn't have enough income to, have enough food. And that really pricked my heart. And I was like, God, I've got to do something to help these people. And so when I was in those meetings with them, I said, okay, we're no longer talking about insurance right now. What do you want to eat? I will go to the grocery store and we're going to get you some groceries.
Okay.
And so I bought groceries for those two ladies on 2 different occasions just to make sure that they had something to eat, because I can't talk to you about insurance and I know you're hungry. It just didn't sit right with me. So I really prayed about it. I said, God, what can I do to help people who are in these situations? And he dropped it in my spirit to start a nonprofit.
Okay.
And so a friend of mine, I knew she had a nonprofit, and I said, hey, how did you set up your nonprofit? And she told me about this organization that will help people to set up their nonprofits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the husband, I believe, is an ex-IRS agent that worked for the charitable.
You don't mind me asking? For a friend, what's the name of the organization?
Oh my goodness. I don't, and actually I talked to them today.
Oh, okay. What do you mean
I have to
help?
get back to you.
Because
They
in that 501c3, I heard, is filling out forms out with the tax IRS forms can.
They can be challenging,
They
but
can be challenging.
I know people who filled
Usually
them out.
people
and
hired
didn't have a problem.
someone to do it.
And that's what I hired someone, not that I didn't have the capability of doing
Right.
it, but I didn't have the time.
Right, exactly.
And I wanted to make sure that it was set up properly.
Right.
And that I didn't have to go back and forth with the IRS.
Right.
So I hired someone to do it. And so what they pretty much asked me for, I just provided them with programming information. They said, okay, what kind of programs do you want to run?
Okay.
What are you passionate about? I had to, put together a mission statement, but the meat and potatoes of putting everything together, they did all the paperwork for me.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
of course I had to pay them a fee. I paid them a fee.
Right.
You guys handle it, get back to me when I have my 501c3.
Okay, that's good.
So-
We gotta talk off camera.
Okay.
So tell us specifically with what services you provide with compassion and senior care services.
We provide a lot of services. I shifted really. I find myself now servicing more families and individuals as well as seniors. So we provide services like we have a relationship with Walmart, where every 2 weeks we get donations from Walmart, and so right now we have a whole warehouse full of things that can help people. We have clothing, we have household items, a variety of different things. So if people have been burned out of their homes, if they need clothing, if they can't afford clothing, we provide clothing for people. We've provided refrigerators. We've provided, when people need monetary assistance, we provide that as well. We help people to navigate the healthcare system. We help people sometimes if they don't know how to apply for Medicaid, or if they don't know how to apply for health insurance. We help them to navigate that, or if they don't know how to use technology, we help them with that as well. We go into senior centers in the community. We also provide training on technology, because a lot of seniors don't know how to use smartphones. They have them, but they don't really know how to use them. We help them set up email accounts. We've done computer training. We've helped them if they need help with paying for prescription medication. We help them get into programs that can help minimize their out-of-pocket costs for their prescription medications. If they need resources, as far as if they're homeless, we point them to other resources to provide housing. Wherever we see a need, really, if it's not something that we're able to provide, we will find a resource that can help meet that need.
Now, how do people get in touch with you regarding your nonprofit?
My nonprofit, they can get in touch with us online at C as in cat, S as in Sam, C as in cat, S as in Sam, CSCS-mich.org.
Okay.
Or they can call us at 313-442-7224.
Say that number again.
313-442-7224.
And we'll provide the website and information in our show notes in the description. That's great. So how long have you guys been doing this work for seniors?
The nonprofit, I believe we started the nonprofit in 2013. 2013, yes.
It's roughly about 8 years,
Yes.
7 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you have like full-time staff, volunteers, or?
No, it's all volunteer right now. We're in the process of growing and scaling. Like I said, we're kind of shifting our, I don't want to say shifting our focus, because we still service the seniors, but especially within the last 18 months to 2 years, because of the pandemic, our scope and reach has expanded because we have a lot of families that are in need. We work with the Detroit Public School System through their faith initiative. So we're providing uniforms to schools. Before school started this year, we went to a local school and provided socks and undergarments and t-shirts and uniforms and things like that. So we're, wherever there's a need in the community, we're trying to meet that need. We don't really want to have to turn anyone away. And like I said, if we can't fulfill the need, then we will make sure that we get them in touch with another organization that can help them.
Now, if somebody's interested in volunteering,
absolutely, we love volunteers. Yes, there is a form on the website that you can simply fill out, just saying I'm interested in being a volunteer. You just simply click that link, and we would love to have you be a volunteer and help us meet the needs of the community.
Now, I wanted to ask about your organization. Do you have any upcoming events or programs or things you're doing before the holiday? Or?
Yes, every year we do a campaign that we call Spread Joy.
Okay.
And with Spread Joy, what we do is, in times past, it was just for the senior population, where we found out we would go to churches and talk to pastors and say, who in your congregation, just needs some love.
Okay.
Maybe they don't see their family a lot, or maybe they don't have a lot of people that visit them, or they, have a financial or, clothing need or whatever. And so we put together huge baskets just full of stuff. We've provided, house shoes, personal care items, clothing, just a variety of different things. And we go out and we spread joy.
Wow, and when is that? Is that before Christmas? Or?
That is before Christmas. We are going to be doing the Spread Joy campaign. That will be the second week of December.
Okay.
We don't have a date as of yet as when we're going to go out in the community and
is that usually on a weekend?
distribute them. Yes, it's always on a weekend, usually
on
on
Saturday,
a Saturday. Yep, where we have a team of people that fan out in Southeast Michigan, and we go to a lot of different places.
Okay, that's great. As we kind of wrap up our time together, I wanted to ask you a couple of things as we close out. What do you enjoy most about what you do?
Being able to help people.
Being able
That is my passion. That's my retirement plan. Once I retire from insurance, my nonprofit is what I am going to be mostly focused on. Because I really use the insurance industry as a funnel for the nonprofit to provide funds to fund it so that I can do more work in the community.
That's amazing. What would you say separates you and your business, your agency, from other insurance agents?
Well, what really separates us is the people component. Because a lot of times people will come and they'll say, just give me the cheapest price, that's all I want. I don't operate that way. I want to educate you on what it is you're purchasing. I don't want you to walk away just thinking I got the cheapest price, because people get mad at the time of a claim when the company says, oh, that's not covered.
Right.
And I think a lot of agents do their customers a disservice by just giving them the cheapest price.
Right.
Because you're talking about people's lives, you're talking about their assets, their cars, their homes. So what sets us apart is the people component. We genuinely care about people. We want to make sure that we're protecting what's most important to them. And so by doing that, we provide education. You're not going to leave out of our office not understanding what it is you've purchased and how it protects you. And so we work hard at making sure that we take good care of our people.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Any advice you would give to someone who's considering get into the insurance business?
Yes, the advice I would give is it's a wonderful industry. It can provide you with a great living, and you know, you really can do well. It does take hard work. It's not a get rich overnight kind of thing, but with hard work, this is a wonderful industry to work in, and it can provide income for the rest of your life, really. The sales that you make today, once I retire, as long as I still keep in contact with my clients, make sure I'm providing service to them, I will get a check for the rest of my life as long as I maintain my licenses. Not many corporate America jobs can tell you that once you leave their employ, that you're still gonna get that residual income.
Okay.
So I'll slow down, but my money will still come.
All right, you'll slow down, but your money will still come. That's
Yes.
awesome. In closing, we want to provide our viewers, if they want to get in touch with you for maybe they need a individual quote for car insurance
Sure.
or life insurance,
Sure.
or they're a business and they heard about what you talked about,
Mm-hmm.
about protecting their assets, liability, or just being disabled,
Mm-hmm.
or there may be someone who's interested in donating to your nonprofit or volunteering.
Sure.
You mind sharing
Sure.
just how the best way to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Now with Sharpe and Associates, the phone number there is 248-573-0123. You also can reach us on the web at www.sharpe, that's Sharpe with an E, SHARPE -insurance.com. You also can find us on Facebook at Sharpe Insurance. You also can find us on Instagram and Twitter as well. For the nonprofit, Compassionate Senior Care Services, I gave that information earlier. I'll give it again. You can reach us on the web at www.cscs-mich.org. Phone number 313-442, let's see, why am I drawing a blank on that number? 313-442-7224.
Great.
Yeah,
Wow.
so if you're looking for a volunteer opportunity,
Yes.
we love to have you join our organization as a volunteer. There's a lot of work to be done in the community, and we'd love to have your hands on deck.
All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Rosemary, for
It's been
this
my pleasure.
opportunity to have you on the podcast. I'm excited about what you're doing in the community, and
Thank you.
look for ways for I can be a part as serving as well.
Thank you.
And thanks again. Wish you much
Absolutely.
success.
Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much.